Hello, and welcome to the Best of Buckeye. I'm Brian Williams, Superintendent of Buckeye Schools. We're here today with two of our principals. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Rich Finley and Dawn Hartwell. And we're going to talk a little bit today about kindergarten and preschool. We have some important information coming up, or dates coming up, that we want to talk about, but we really want to just talk in general about preschool and kindergarten. It's a time that we welcome our youngest learners to our district. Some kids coming into preschool or into kindergarten did not go to preschool, and it did not go with us sometimes. And then, of course, our preschool students, it's their first introduction to the Buckeye local schools. So we obviously want to do everything we can to make that a positive experience, not only for our kids, but we also know that as families, that can be a very concerning, stressful time, just because it's new. Not that there's anything wrong. Everybody goes to school. But just that starting school for the first time, and probably some families are wondering, where did 4 years go? when kids are ready to go to school, it always seems like it gets there too quickly. So we want to talk about, I guess, some things that parents can do to get kids ready for their first experience in school. But before we get there, can I back up? And I know I'm putting you on the spot. Start with Mr. Finley. Can you just tell us about yourself, a little bit about your background, how long you've been in Buckeye, and some of those things, just for maybe our viewers who've never met you before?
Sure, yeah. I'm originally from Amherst, Ohio, and I went to Bowling Green State University and started at Buckeye back in the year 2000. I was a physical education teacher at Litchfield, and then our schools consolidated, and I became the phys ed teacher at the elementary building. And then in about 2007 was my first year as an administrator. I was an assistant principal at the elementary building and the junior high school. And then in 2010 became the principal at Buckeye Intermediate School. And along with that, I am also the preschool coordinator, yes. Preschool coordinator.
Excellent. Yeah. Very good. Ms. Hartwell?
I'm a Southern girl, but I've lived in Ohio. It's about my 16th year. This is my 10th year in Buckeye. Very proud to see we've seen a lot of positive changes. I started out as the principal in Litchfield, and then I was principal at York, and now I'm the principal at the primary school.
Excellent. Very good. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad you both are here. We won't talk about Clemson when they beat Ohio State this year. So
thank you for working that in.
We'll let that go, that you are a graduate of Clemson. So congratulations on that. Maybe we can start a little bit with preschool, since preschool kind of comes first in our order. But can you talk a little bit about the makeup of our preschool? We have a preschool in which we have some students on IEPs, and then we have what we call typicals. Can you talk about how our preschool is made up?
Sure. It's called an integrated preschool. We have 3 units, and in each unit we have a mixture of both students that are disabled and those that are considered typical students. And it's about a 50-50 ratio in all 3 of those units. It's a preschool where we don't really accept a lot of typical age students. It's basically a special education preschool unit, but we do accept some typical peers in there every year.
Okay. And that's what the law requires right now. Like, schools are not required to provide preschool except for students that are on an IEP or have been identified with having a disability. And so our preschool provides that with typical peers that are role models, I guess, for the students on an IEP.
Exactly, yeah. And our preschool is very much, we follow the Ohio State curriculum, and it is very much a play-based type of preschool. And so having that role model, those peers for those other students to follow is extremely important. And it varies from ages 3 to 5. So therefore, those who are coming in are normally around 3 years old, although you can enter at any age up to 5. And having those 4 and 5-year-old students there for them to model and for them to follow is extremely important.
Now, we would probably like to sit here and say that we would accept anybody that wanted to come and be a part of our preschool, but as you said, the numbers are very limited as far as especially regular ed kids or typical students that we could take in our preschool. Can you talk about qualifications? And I think it's really more lottery-based, isn't it? That those that want to be involved, and they're selected for a lottery to see who actually gets to be a typical?
Exactly. It's lottery-based, and we do a screening, too, to make sure that we have all the students ready for preschool. It's depending on the year, too, because sometimes we have a lot of students are ready to go to kindergarten then. Mm-hmm. And then that opens up some more spots for the following year. So it's just depending on the year and how many students are age ready for kindergarten.
So how are students identified for, is it Help Me Grow that identify students that might have a potential disability that would be eligible for our preschool?
Yeah, Help Me Grow is one of those things that helps us screen our students, and also we have our own screening system that we do.
Okay.
That will be February 14th and March 14th and March 21st.
Okay, and today's March 10th, so
Yes.
we want to get this on as quickly as we can because there are some dates coming up that will come into play. So can you repeat those dates again?
Sure, March 14th and March 21st. Those are both Fridays.
Okay.
It begins at 9 o'clock. The first session is from 9 to 10:30, and the second session is from 1 o'clock to 2:30.
And who should they contact if they have a desire to be a part of that?
They should contact the intermediate school secretary. Her name is Jan Dorica.
Okay.
Her extension is 4339.
Okay, so they can call her. Now, who can get screened?
Who can get screened?
Yeah, can anybody call to be a part of that screening?
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So anybody that has a child of between the ages of 3 and 5?
Yes.
Okay.
Doesn't guarantee that they'll be in our preschool the next year, but they can get screened.
And it's good to have them identified, have them go through the screening if they're at that age, and that'll give an idea of whether they would qualify or not, or whether they would be accepted. And nobody will be accepted if they don't come and go through the process.
Exactly. There's a few things that they do have to remember to bring with them, though. They, their child has to be age 3 by August 1st of 2014, so they have to be 3 years old. With them, they need to bring a birth certificate, Social Security card, a proof of residency, a photo ID of the parent, and of course custody papers if those apply.
Okay. Now we don't want to steal any thunder. I don't know how much of that goes along with the kindergarten registration, and we'll probably repeat that again. But as far as kindergarten screening, that materials apply. Can you talk, Mr. Finley, about the importance of preschool, whether they get into our preschool or they go to a private preschool? I think it goes without saying that having a student in those early learning experiences is very important. But can you talk about the importance of preschool in general? Oh,
yeah, absolutely. I mean, research shows that the earlier the kids are in school, the better they do in the long run, and the stronger the readers they will be. It's important for many reasons. I mean, it can be academically or socially. It's good for students who may not have lots of other peers that live close to them who don't get a chance to play or be around other students. It's a really great opportunity for them to be around a lot of other kids and just get used to coming to school and get used to having the procedures of school. I think it's a very powerful tool, and it's very important to the students.
And interestingly, you have the pleasure of being in charge of the preschool, but then they filter right into your building, Dawn, going from preschool to kindergarten in the primary building. And maybe you could also reflect on or add to what maybe your teachers see, especially in kindergarten and first grade, from a student who maybe had preschool and maybe a student that didn't have preschool. Do they see a big difference there?
I think it's a combination of students who may have had preschool. Certainly they get that socialization piece. We also see a difference, though. We can tell the kids whose parents really work with them on the kindergarten readiness skills. And we do have some materials that we'll give out to parents at kindergarten registration that if they haven't begun working with them, it's never too late to start.
It would be wonderful to get some of that information out to our families as early as possible, and maybe we can see how we can get that available. Do you see, maybe we could talk a little bit about maybe moving into the kindergarten realm. What kind of things, when you talk about kindergarten readiness, are there tips or things that you can, I guess number one is work with your kids. That is probably the number one thing. Start reading to them as early as possible. I mean, within a couple months even.
Just reading to your child. A lot of parents get concerned because their child may not be reading or but just reading to them is probably one of the most important things that we can stress, and it's very beneficial. Starting to work with them on identifying letters and numbers, maybe working on knowing their address, writing their name. Certainly all students are not going to come to us knowing that. That's the one, I think, joy and challenge about kindergarten is kids come to us at all different, with different skills, and children develop differently. So that's to be expected.
Yeah. Good. Well, and again, I think one of the most important things is, too, that we can talk about today is just emphasizing the importance of education. I mean, starting when the kids are, first starting their language development, start emphasizing how important education is so that they grow up with that realization that education is important, I need to take it seriously, and there's a lot riding on it. And again, right or wrong, in this day and age, we are asking kids to do more and more than we ever have before. Skills that kids are doing in kindergarten, are skills that they didn't do till later in their primary experience. So kindergarten is certainly not our kindergarten, I guess we would say.
No.
Can you talk about, Dawn, some of the dates for kindergarten registration?
Absolutely. Actually, this is very timely because our first kindergarten registration is March 11th, which is tomorrow, but we also have March 20th and March 26th. So you can call, parents can call our number, 330-722-8257, extension 4143, and that's Renee Sandy. She will make an appointment and let you know what times are available. One thing, if I can add, Brian, that's so important about coming in and trying to get into these early kindergarten registration dates. Some parents may think, oh, I'll wait till summer. We don't have the staff there in the summertime that we will have at these kindergarten registration dates. So we have nursing staff, our speech and language therapists will be there to screen children in articulation and language skills. We'll have nurses to do vision and hearing screenings. And also our staff, our kindergarten teachers are there, and they will administer some kindergarten readiness skill tests. And it's really our first look that we get at the children. So the more information we have, so as we look into developing class lists, matching children with teachers, we have a better picture of where your child may be if they come to one of these orientations.
Great information. That's wonderful. So the moral is, the earlier the better.
Yes.
Get in here, make a phone call, get an appointment on one of the dates. I think you said March 11th, and for purposes of this show, obviously this will probably, people may watch this after March 11th, but March 20th or March 26th for kindergarten screening would be great days for them to call up, make an appointment. We mentioned some people's names, but they really, if they just call the school district and tell them that you want kindergarten registration or preschool screenings, and they can get them to the right people for those. Go ahead.
Can I mention one important thing, too, is to make sure that your child turns 5 by August 1st.
That's a good
point. That is the cutoff date. And also, as Rich said, there's documentation that must be brought to enroll in kindergarten. The same documents. I'll go over it again. Birth certificate. The parent must have a photo ID, proof of residency, the Social Security card for the child. And again, if there's any custody issues, those papers are always helpful, and immunization records.
Very good, very good. Well, this is all wonderful information. Again, I think it's very important for people to have this information. The kindergarten screening and the preschool screening, as we mentioned, are coming up. So for our families out there, if you have a child of that age, please give us a call. We'd love to meet you, welcome you to Buckeye, and get your child screened so we can start that process. But also, if maybe they have neighbors or somebody else that maybe, if you're watching this and you know that there's a child of that age, please pass along that information. As Ms. Hartwell mentioned, it is really, really important that they do this now and not wait till the summer, not only for our purposes, which is very important for us to do it as early as possible so we have the information. As you said, we can plan for class sizes and some of those things with our staffing, but it also, for not only us, but I hope for our families, the stress of summer and last minute just creates stress for everybody, and especially for the child.
Right.
And we don't want stress on the kids. We'd like to get that in place, get it done, and then you can enjoy your summer and know that you're starting school in a couple of short months. So, Mr. Finley, anything else regarding preschool that we want to talk about today that we haven't had a chance to?
I can't really think of anything off the top of my head, but I can give you the phone extension to call again. It's 722. What is it? 722-8257, extension 4339.
There you go.
Because we have auto dial.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah, go ahead.
And I was just going to mention all of the information about kindergarten registration is also on our website, both our school page and the Buckeye homepage.
Yep. Very good. Yeah, matter of fact, it's on the homepage. I noticed that today. So, yeah, go to the Buckeye Schools website. It's on the front page. And I think it's the other thing to mention, hopefully that will make our community feel good. And I think that people that have gone through our program know what a wonderful program, both of them, preschool and kindergarten. We have wonderful staff. You guys both do a great job running your buildings and running those programs. So we have wonderful teachers there to work with their children, to get them off to a wonderful experience in whether it's preschool or kindergarten. And that's a goal. I mean, to get kids off to a positive experience, not only for the kids, but their parents. And we have many ways of trying, so if there are new parents out there watching, and we have our website, which has lots of information. We have a Twitter account that we have information occasionally, our Facebook page, which is We Are Buckeye. If you're not signed up for that, lots of information on the Facebook page. We also, from time to time, will send phone calls home, to our families about things happening in the district. These TV shows are one way of trying to provide information, so the communication piece is very, very important, and you guys do a wonderful job with that. And we encourage our parents to communicate with us if they have ever a question. If you have questions about preschool or kindergarten screening, please call us. It's what we're here for. And again, just to get our kids off on a great start with their education here in Buckeye. So anything else in general for our community you guys can think of?
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for helping us provide some information to our families. Again, those dates are coming up, and I think, Mr. Finley, would you mind mentioning your dates one more time? Do you have those there?
I do, yeah. Friday, March 14th and Friday, March 21st.
That's for preschool.
Preschool registration and screening.
And that's for kids that are between the ages of 3 and 5?
3 and 5, correct.
And that cutoff date again is August 1st?
August 1st. You must be 3 by August 1st.
Okay. And how about the kindergarten dates one more time?
March 11th, March 20th, and March 26th.
Excellent. And same date, August 1st?
August 1st.
Have to be 5?
Must be 5.
Must be 5 for kindergarten. Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. If anybody has questions, please give us a call and speak with one of either our administrators or one of the secretaries at either the primary or intermediate building. Check our website for further information. We want to thank you for tuning in today. We hope this has provided a little more information on our preschool and kindergarten programs in the process to get kids registered right now that's going on. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is the Best of Buckeye, and I'm Superintendent Brian Williams.